I'm pregnant.
All those other girls who love me, she is the only one who didn't. All these hugs and kisses, man, I swear we too committed. That's my best friend. Hugs and kisses to my best friend. That's my best friend. Hugs and kisses to my best friend. That's my best friend.
YouTube, welcome back to the nation. You already know what it is. It's your girl, Desiree. It's your girl, Lexi. And today, we are going to be doing a Wawa Mukbang with Wawa. Some flaming hot onions and some flaming hot munchies. So, we're going to be answering some questions and eating and talking to you guys just for a little bit.
Yeah.
We haven't...
It's like a mixture of a milkshake and a Q&A.
Yeah.
It's great.
What the fuck? We haven't done anything in probably about a month, so we figured for all of you lovely people. We would go ahead and post something new. And best friend.
And we're sorry for the inconvenience because best friend over here deleted our first video.
Okay.
We're currently trying to get that back up and rolling.
Let's crack open these fun ones. You feel me?
We need some milk.
Smell like feet. Let's open up these munchies and let's get it cracking like. How y'all feeling today?
How y'all?
Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment down below how accurate we are.
Hit the bell.
Okay,
I
so
don't know
the
where
first
I was
question.
pointing to.
The first question is for both of us. When did you guys start being friends?
Oh, that's a good question.
It kind of bounces off another question, though, to be honest.
Well, really, we met in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But when we weren't really close like we are now. Not even close to being close like we are now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met in 2015 in the ROTC program. And
R.I.P. your twin.
you hated me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't like her.
No, she didn't. She hated me.
Are you sad? Give me a pic, let me give you a hug. Cause you act like nobody shows you love.
Kind of both in very toxic friendships at the time. And I guess once we moved schools after our old high school shut down, we kind of became closer through our ROTC program.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of realized that, you know, we were basically the same person.
We were made for each other.
But if it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be.
What? Our next question is for both of us. What age did you lose your virginity?
No shit. My mom could see this.
Okay, so I'm kind of like a late bloomer, as some of y'all like to say.
Late bloomer,
I
yeah.
had my first kiss and lost my virginity to the same person who I'm dating currently.
And I hate.
And I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 19, so.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Happy birthday, bitch.
Fuck it up if it's your birthday, bitch. Fuck it up if it's your birthday, bitch.
Anyways,
My friend.
I had my first kiss. Wait. Before I talk about this, what do you count as like a first kiss?
Like a first actual kiss. Because if we're gonna talk about like petty, like pecks and shit, then my first kiss was a female in elementary school.
Because my first kiss was, I was fucking young as hell. Oh God. You can't use it. Whatever. I was young as hell.
We ain't like how we living it on the internet. This is where I realized that I fucked up.
No. I was in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
My first kiss was Carmelo.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost my virginity at 18.
Because, you know, we had hoes when also.
Because I wanted to graduate, and I didn't want to have to go to school. I don't want to have to deal with all that.
Pregnancy?
Like, I didn't want to, like...
This turns into clout.
Well,
She's pregnant.
I'm pregnant. Clickbait. No. I didn't plan on, like, wanting to do that. Mainly because I didn't want something. I was mainly, like, just really scared something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I was going to be in high school still. And I just didn't want that to happen.
True.
So I waited until after I graduated. Kids stay in school.
This next question kind of bounces off the first question. What was your first impression of each other? Okay. I've said this multiple times. Ew, what the fuck was that? I've said this multiple times. But I did not like her, like, at all. And it was kind of funny because she was just hanging out with the wrong people. And I didn't like the person that she was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny because we were going through old Snapchat messages, which we're going to have to do.
I didn't have a problem with you at all. I really liked you.
We're going to have to do
person.
another video going through our old Snapchat messages.
Yes.
And,
Jesus Christ.
I have an issue with you.
excuse me. Anyways, we were going through old Snapchat messages, and we found some messages between me and my ex-boyfriend. And she was, like, sticking up for me and, like, loved me, and I didn't even know her name.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know her name.
Like, she didn't care who I was. And I mean, I don't take any hard feeling to it because, like, I don't even like the person I used to be. So.
Because, like, we're closer than, like, ever now.
Yeah.
So.
It works. But yeah, I didn't really have a problem with her. I guess she hated me. I didn't even know that until we became best friends. But
Okay, the next question. What helps you get through life? Jesus.
for sure.
And my family.
God, and like, you know, just some of the people I had, like Master Sergeant, like many of the main people, like my mom, you know, my friends.
Yeah. Master Sergeant, our ROTC instructor.
Master Sergeant, definitely, for sure. Shout out to
Master
Master Sergeant
Hodges.
Hodges at 5A High School, you know.
Fuck Major Nolf. You know what it is.
I was like the show.
You already know what it is. I don't give a fuck. You already know what it is, sir.
But you know, shout out to you.
Next question.
Much love.
Is, who are people you can trust? I've probably got about 2 or 3. And that's my sister, Lexi, and probably my mom. And, you know, my boyfriend, of course. But, those are, like, the 3 main people that are out there that's never, like, fucked me over ever or, like, left me hanging out to dry. So I would say those are, like, top 3.
For me, I'm not gonna say I trust like a lot of people, but at the same time, there's a lot of people like in my family that I do trust. But if I were to like name, like you said, like a top 3, it would definitely for sure be you, Allie,
Yeah.
and my mom. Not in that order, because obviously my mom's always
Okay.
everything. But those would definitely be the 3 people that I trust the most. Like, if my life were in their hands, I would trust that. Well, I don't know, because Allie ran away when I was being chased away with a...
My dad and my stepmom, of course, they've, you know. But that's a different story time. Who are you closer to, your mom or dad?
My mom, for sure.
I'm gonna let you take that. We'll talk about that for a second.
My mom, for sure. And it could be because I live with my mom, but also because sometimes things happen where you just don't like have that connection with both of them like you do with one of them. And I'm not saying I don't have a connection with my dad.
Yeah.
Because I do.
Most
It's just I'm around my mom a lot more.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I'm around my mom a lot more. And I'm just able to see her every day. Like, I don't get to see my dad every day.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm not close to my dad, but for sure, I see my mom every day and I talk to my mom. Like, I can literally tell my mom anything. That's like my best friend, you know? So.
I would have to say, I'm close to my mom, definitely. When I was little, I was like a big daddy's girl, or you could say whatever. But growing up and realizing stuff about life and my past that I had noticed and I had, which we're going to talk about because it's kind of like the next question. But, you know, realizing it it's just like it's brought me closer to my mom. And like my mom, she's like my mother and she's a parent, but she's also like a friend and like my best friend. And so like obviously on a different level, but
yeah.
Okay, so the next question is what was your childhood like growing up? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna word that.
Okay. My childhood growing up was fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, I never went like hungry. I never, you know, did none of that, but it was definitely a struggle growing up. There was a lot of like flip-flopping between my faith, just because of like my parents separated when I was 5 at a very like young age, probably even smaller than that, but the main points that I remember is like me being 5 and there was a lot of cops involved in my life. Judges, there was a lot of, you know, mental abuse on one side, and I had to work for like everything I've gotten. So like every time someone like says, oh, you're spoiled, or they look at me and they're like, oh, you have like all this shit, like you're not in need or anything, like I'm like, because I like work my ass off for it, like I didn't just get handed anything. Like
exactly,
I grew up being taught that you have to work for shit that you want.
Yeah, you're not
and,
just
like,
gonna get it handed to you.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it was just very like hardcore, like pushy, like fucked up most of the time. But it's like altogether like made me a better person today, and like shown that I can like love myself for who I am, even though like people like have told me that, you know, like you're not gonna be anything, or like you're not gonna do anything with like life if you don't present yourself or like look a certain way, and it's like not the truth at all. So like, yeah.
My childhood, I had food, water, and a roof over my head. So, I mean, I lived a childhood. Wasn't the best childhood.
Yeah.
But, you know, not everybody's is. There were a lot of issues and there were a lot of good times. But, you know, I think the hardest part about it was just bouncing back between families and, you know, just all the problems.
Like the 2 separate holidays. Like when you're young, it's
especially
like
that
fun because you get extra gifts. Or whatever,
but sometimes it just sucks. Like as you grow up, you realize, like, yeah, I got all this extra stuff, but I'd rather
have less and have everybody like together.
Yeah, I'd rather have one family together than have to go to 2 separate, especially when they live so far apart, because I don't get to see my dad as much as I would like to, and I never really did, because like my sisters and brothers get to see their dad every other weekend. I never got that opportunity for most of it, just because we live like 6 hours away. So I only got to see him on holidays, and then every year we would switch holidays, and so like, you know, it's hard sometimes, but
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't complain because my dad and my mom are still, like, here with me. So I know a lot of people still don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Like, some people, like, don't have, like, parents at all. And, like, I'm not complaining about, like, the parents that I have. But, like, I know it could have been worse. Like, I know, like, I could have been put in a worse situation.
Exactly.
And that's kind of why, like, I'm, like, I'm not going to say, like, I'm big in my faith because I fuck up and, like, I don't do, like, everything a Christian is supposed to do. Like, whatever.
Okay, so I'm literally editing this video. And I'm literally going to fucking die if I look up at the ceiling one more fucking time. Oh my god, like... I cannot do that, like... I'm sorry. I really am. Alright, back to the video.
That means, but, like, yeah, like, there's a lot of stuff that's, like, went on. Like, we all have our own stories. And, like, they're all different. They all can be worse, or they can be better, or just, you know, we can be put into a situation that's, like, worse than somebody else's. So, like, I don't really complain about my situation, like, all that, and I don't really tell a lot of people because, like, it could be worse, and, like, I made it out of that situation, and, like, there was a lot of shit that, like, threw me off with, like, okay, so I'm just gonna ask the next question then. What brought you closer to God, or, like, made you realize that, like, you could have somebody there? Like, because I know a lot of people don't, like, believe in God or whatever you believe in many.
Okay, so the fact that I just threw up quotations talking about other people's religions, bitch, put me on a stake and fucking burn me at it like they did the witches. What the fuck? Oh my god, I am such a piece of shit. I am so, oh my god, bitch. Like, what?
Religions, but.
Okay. So yeah, this is gonna, like, sound, like, crazy and all, you know. Like, I've always believed in God. Like, I've always, like, I mean, I don't go to church every Sunday. I don't go to youth group every Wednesday like a lot of people do. But did I go growing up? Of course. Did I, like, enjoy it? Yeah, I did. Like, I enjoyed it. Yeah. Did I always follow the word or the Bible? No, I didn't. But I believe that what brought me closer to him and what made me more interested was definitely probably my last relationship. Just because, like, his family was so into that, and he kind of, like, definitely talked to me about things like that. Like, I've never, like, had somebody that's been like, listen here, like, I know you're going through this, but, like, you know, God says this, and like, this will happen, and all you could do is pray, and, you know, and
like,
I know it may sound crazy
about, like, everything,
but that's honestly true, because after meeting him and his family and stuff, I was like, whoa, I want to like feel like I'm welcomed, and I didn't do it because I felt like I needed to fit in with his family. I did it because I was like, well, if they're interested in this, then I want to be more informed about it, and I want to, like, I just want to be more informed on what they know, and I just want more knowledge of things. So I looked into it more. I started going to church a lot more, like, and I just really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then one day I went to, what's his name? I went to my church, and
Jesus?
Eddie, no.
What's his name, Jesus?
No, it's Eddie something.
Oh, shit. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Eddie James?
Eddie James, yes. Eddie James came to perform for my church. And when I tell you, like, I felt a whole different way. Like, I felt a whole, like, I was bawling. I was feeling something. I don't know what it was, but I was definitely feeling something. And ever since then, I've definitely been more like, hey, like, and I've definitely been a lot more careful with like my actions and stuff. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect because I'm not, but I definitely try and do things more like better than I used to.
Yeah.
And make better decisions.
Yeah. My dad started taking me to church when I was 5. So like I kind of grew up in church. So it's kind of like all I've known. I feel like now being as close as I am to God and stuff that it was for a reason. Because, you know, being a little kid and having God like shoved in your face and you not having a chance to like really like
Yeah, because you don't have the option
whoa,
to really
like do I have a choice in this?
Yeah.
I grew up believing and having faith and just, you know, super little kid faith, you know, like, oh, praise the Lord, like I'm gonna be good today in church, you know what I mean? And a few years after that, my grandmother had passed away.
Oh, what are you doing?
Daisy, the dog's
Daisy
attacking
wants to be in
her.
the video.
So, my baby.
Y'all can't see.
So, a few years after we had started going to church, like 4 years, my grandmother had passed away. I'm gonna try not to cry about this right now.
Oh, don't cry.
But, we were really close. Like, super fucking close. Like, you couldn't tell me and her nothing when it came to us. I was only 9 years old. And so, me being the little kid that I was, and knowing about God and His love and stuff like that, it was an easier way for my dad to kind of, my mom and dad to explain her death to me. But then I went into like this spiral of, well, God isn't real. Like, how could He take her away from me so young? Like, He doesn't actually love me. Like, He's not real at all. Like, I'm just not gonna fuck with this bullshit. Basically, was what my mindset was. And then I started going to church a little bit more after that. And then when I started believing a little more, getting my faith back. And when I hit 10 or 11, my dad and my mom had a falling out. And I was taken away from my mom. Not like court ordered or anything, but big situation. So I lived with my dad for 6 years. I just moved back in with my mom a year ago. And so after that had happened, I lost my faith again, and I went into this down spiral of nobody cares for me, nobody loves me. Once again, He's not looking out for me. He's not keeping His promise to me like He said He was going to. And I started doing bad shit, hang out with the wrong people, you know. Shit happened to me between a boyfriend, you know. I stayed in an abusive relationship, mentally, physically, you know, all of that. And I thought it was okay. I thought it was my fault. And I stayed in there for a little bit. And then I went to church one weekend. And someone had told me that if you were in this situation, it was a sermon. And the pastor was up there preaching. And he had no idea about any of this. Nobody had, except for my sister. We hadn't told nobody because I didn't want nobody to know. And the pastor said something along the lines of, if you're in an abusive relationship, no, it's not your fault. Know that God is with you. He is holding you. He's going to help you get out of it. You can get out of it. And at that moment, I felt so, like, numb and, like, just weird.
I know exactly
and
what
I
you're talking
knew
about.
that I had to get out of that situation. And even though my faith was still rocky, I was holding on to a little piece of it. Like, I was taking it with me. And around 10th grade, maybe my 11th grade year, we had went out to a concert and like a weekend-based like trip called Sunfest with my youth group. And Eddie James was there.
Oh, I love Eddie James.
And
so
he
much.
got up there and was talking about, you know, hard situations and mental and physical abuse situations in our past and all this. And then he started singing a song. And I remember just like not even thinking about it, just like surrendering myself to God. And I I started shaking and like I almost like fell out like right there. And I know a lot of people that are gonna be like, oh well, it's like exaggeration, like you don't know, like it's not an exaggeration.
No.
Like at all. It's like, because I used to look at people that would like fall over and like have seizures and shit and just I'd be like, that's a little bit too fucking far, like praise Jesus and all, but that's a little too fucking far. But that day, like, it was so weird. Like, I literally felt the Holy Spirit, like, running through my body. Like, and that's a day where, like, you know, I was like, okay, well, I gave myself to God. And, you know, it was a rough fucking patch straight through there. Because, you know, you got to get through the rough patch to get
For sure.
to the glory of God. And I definitely saw that. Because my niece and nephew had been living with us for a certain situation, and I'm not going to talk on that because it's not my situation to talk about. But they had been taken out of our home suddenly and separated into different foster houses. And we hadn't seen them for months. And damn it, I said I wasn't gonna cry.
Don't cry.
But we hadn't seen them for months. And my niece loves Fight My Battles. It's a it's a worship song.
That's such a good song.
And it was her favorite song. She'd go around singing it in the house, and we hadn't heard it in weeks, maybe months after they were taken, and we had all been praying so hard to get them back. And we're sitting in church, and our worship leader at the time was done with her set and had all of a sudden said, I feel like I need to sing this song for people in this room today. And she started singing that song. And I broke down, and a few weeks after that, if not a few days after that, we got a call that the kids were gonna come home. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking fall right now. Anyways, so yeah, we got a call that the kids were gonna come home, and after that, I just, you know, there's been some hard shit that has been rocky, like really rocky, but after that, I knew that he was there with me. And having, like, a rough relationship with my dad, like, growing up, it's good to know that I have a father figure that, like, is never gonna, like, leave me or treat me in a certain way. And he's always gonna love me for everything that I do. And my dad loves me. Like, I know he does, like, my earthly father. Like, I know he loves me, and I know, like, he'll do anything for me. But, you know, our relationship is not always 100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was a fucking story time. So, I mean, I don't have any more questions. Do you have any more questions?
I don't know. Nobody's, like, giving me any, so you can't really think of any on the spot.
Anything? Okay, well.
Yeah. I don't know.
Mom? Alright guys, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, we're doing our socials down in the description below. Leave us a comment, tell us how you like this video, and if you want us to do more. Fuck it up, bitches.
All these other girls who love me, she is the only one who didn't. All these hugs and kisses, man, I swear we too committed.